Great to have Kenya playing here in LMS at this iconic ground, Nairobi Gymkhana, which all of you remember from the 2003 World Cup, Champions Trophies, the site of Shahid Afridi's fastest century in world cricket back in the late 90s. And we're also honoured to be joined in the commentary box at the start of this game by none other than Hiran Varaya, former Kenya captain, and approximately 90 games, I think, for Kenya across the 2020 and ODI formats. Welcome, Hiran.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Hiran also the captain of the LMS Kenya side in this tournament. Wonderful left arm spinner. So this Kenya side have been selected from our Rhino Cup best performers over the last couple of years, and Hiran has a lot of knowledge about the side. So Hiran, just briefly, I don't want to dwell on it too much because today's a new start, but I was watching your game yesterday against the Australians. You really looked, well, if not on top, like right with them until about the 15th over, and then that game just fell away for you in the latter stages.
Yes, definitely. I thought we were quite much in the game until the 15th or 17th over, because at the 17th over mark, I think so, they were around 120-ish, 125. The last 3 overs is where we lost a bit of a rhythm, and that's where they got about 55 odd runs to take a big target. Yes, though it was a big target, but the format of the game and include having only 6 fielders, I don't see that there was a target which was not achievable. It's just that we just played some bad shots, and they bowled pretty well. And I think so we didn't have a game plan where we decided to look for singles, and we tried to hit quite a few many big shots instead of just trying to rotate initially to get into the game and later on capitalize as well.
Absolutely. Well, that was an interesting start there. I don't know if you saw that, Hiran, but excellent decision by the umpire from Nihar Joshi, opening up, seamed in, just missing leg stump, but an appeal first up. A lovely first shot there from Shubham Jadhav. Pierces that extra cover gap. Wonderful. He just leant into that. He knew where the gap was, and that was a proper shot there, Hiran.
Yes, definitely. I think so. That was an excellent shot from Shubham. The balance on that shot was amazing. That's what our plan was today. Try to keep it on the ground, look for the gaps, and if not, let's try run hard, try turn the singles into doubles if possible, so that we can keep more pressure on the opposition today.
Absolutely, just you say so. Potentially a bit of a lack of experience in the format, I guess. You know, first time out there, and let's have a look, Shubham Jadhav, just to the leg side there for a single. Those Australians that you played against, all of them have played hundreds of games of last man stand. So, as you say, maybe with the batting, guys tried to go too hard too early, and all of your guys in terms of LMS format, you've only been experienced with 10 overs a side format up at Rhino Cup, so I guess it's a bit of an adjustment to the slightly longer format.
Yes, definitely. We noticed that
just a 4 there from Prasant Srinivas here, and these two have already hit a boundary apiece, and Srinivas was onto that in a heartbeat. Look at this, steps back, boom, clearly through leg side, beats the deep mid-wicket fielder. So this is a positive start for you, and sorry, over to you again, Hiran.
Yeah, definitely. Coming back to yesterday is, yes, we analyzed the game after, and I thought we went very hard from the ball one, where we should have taken it easy. It's not easy in sense, try to rotate and get in, because when you're playing the team like Australia, where the bowlers have played more than 1,000 games of LMS with that experience they have, I thought that's where we went wrong. And probably if he would have not bowled 4 overs in a row if he had not got any wickets, giving the other bowlers probably the 4th, 5th bowler coming into play, which we didn't give ourselves a chance to even see the 4th or 5th bowler from the Australian side. And
how did you feel with the bowling? Because we did pick you as the bowler to look out for in the Kenya team, and you bowled 4 exceptional overs there. You really looked like the danger man, so it's coming out for you nicely.
Yes, the wicket was a bit on the slower side, so which always helps the slow bowlers. And I was trying to just vary myself with the pace, a few with the arm balls, a few with the normal left arm spin. But the only key on this wicket is, regardless of what you do, your length and line is very important. If you're way far out of the stumps, you'll still be going for runs, because people will throw the bat, especially with only 3 fielders on each side. Chances of being caught is very low. So you have to be very strict with your line and lengths on this wicket. You will be very successful.
Absolutely. So you got to start afresh here, and it's a fantastic opportunity for you to get back into the tournament here, restart, get maximum points here today against Singapore. They found the going tough so far in their other games, so this is one that you'll really be looking to. Well, look at that big gap out there. He hasn't quite got hold of that, but that's going to roll all the way, almost. Wow, so they've got a big gap in the field there. An interesting field here from the Singaporeans. They've got a man on the 45 behind point, deep point, wide long off, almost a straight long off, and then just two on the leg side. And we saw a huge gap there, which was targeted by the Kenyans. Prasant Srinivas, second ball of Edwin's over, and he goes that leg side again. This is the thing, if you've only got two fielders on that leg side, it's difficult to bowl to unless you're keeping it outside the off. So tough field here in the power play.
Yes, looks like, I think so. It's good with Prashant capitalizing. Looks like if he can middle it, that would be turned into a boundary rather than a 2 runs. But nevertheless, at least as long as we are rotating the strike and getting a runner ball at least, and wait for the bat balls to capitalize and get the 7, 8, 9 runs an over to capitalize the last 10 overs if you have wickets in hand.
Absolutely. And so obviously, aside from yourself, man, a great experience with almost 90 caps for Kenya and a long career. Aside from yourself, who are the players in this Kenya side that you think we should be looking out for, if you could pick 2 or 3 to particularly look out for today for the spectators?
Definitely, we've got Shubham Jadhav, who is come to play for Australia Lions. He's been there for us since the last 2 years. He's a person who is very aggressive in his nature, in his batting style. So if he settles in and if he gets into 2030s, he should be the person to look out, because he can accelerate and at any time, given he can be very explosive at the end. So one of them is Shubham, and we do have some youngsters as well, like not youngsters, but guys who have played decent cricket, people like Dominic, who do make it look. He might not hit many boundaries, but these are guys who can run easily 2 out of your hands with the pace, and is a genuine all-rounder. And he can give you the 4 overs as well. So these are the guys we really think that will be very helpful in the next few games coming in.
And I know that you were disappointed with the lack of options that we had available for LMS Kenya in the spin bowling department, and part of that's probably due to the qualification events that we've run for the Rhino Cup, where there's let's just have a look at Nihar Joshi's first ball of the second over here. Just goes out by Prasant for a single out there to deep cover. But up at El Peditor and the Conservancy and the charity event that you've supported well all these players over the last few years, spin bowling doesn't really go that well up there for a lot of the players, does it? So that's meant that you haven't had many spinners to choose from in this tournament, which you feel is a bit of a disadvantage on these pitches early season.
Yes, definitely, especially with the AstroTurfs in Al Pajata. There's hardly much spin on bowling on those AstroTurfs, and therefore probably there might be a few spinners, but maybe their records or performances in terms of wickets or the average is probably not the best. Yes, definitely with Gymkhana, and especially this time around the year where the wickets are they've been underwater for the last 2 months, I guess. And initially when the league starts, the first 1 month is normally the wickets are very slow. But as the league keeps on going and when the wickets have been played on, then it starts getting flatter, where the medium pacers do start coming in to play.
Absolutely, and that's a wide delivery from Joshi there down the leg side. So just on that note here, and I mean, you're not quite old enough to be a veteran of Kenya cricket yet, but I believe, what are you now, about 40? Yes. But in your time in cricket in this country, which I guess would go back 30 seasons or so, have you ever seen a rainy season like the one that you've just had?
No, I think so. The last I heard, I probably seen it. I can't remember. I was told 97, 98 was when it was El Nino in Kenya and things were underwater. And probably after that is this year, starting from February onwards, we've just seen some extreme rains, and it never stopped. Even after the normally rainy seasons, it's meant to be the long rains, but normally it's between March and April, and after that, May onwards, it's normally dried out. But even this time, May was quite heavy, and we didn't have much time to prepare as well.
Well, and you'll remember just a few weeks ago when we were doing a charity press conference together at Nairobi Club for the Foundation of Youth Cricket and Education in Kenya in the Rhino Cup, when we were looking at the pictures then, and we knew it was just a few weeks out from the World Cup, we could barely imagine that it would be at this stage now, and that's an exceptional effort by the ground staff to be able to get these pitches in order and playable. It's an unbelievable effort.
Definitely. I've been to both the grounds 2 weeks back, where at Nairobi Club we had that interview, and we saw the ground. The grass was probably knee height, and I had come to Gymkhana as well for just our normal routine training. Similar. I was like surprised. Even the same thing I'd asked Mane about when we met in Olpajeta. Are you sure the grounds will be ready?
Just a pause here. As cleared the fielder just. I thought that could have been Shubham Jadhav taken it long on.
Prashant.
Prashant Srinivas. I was just watching the scorecard rather than let's just have a look at this replay here. Ball comes in, just gets enough of it here, Hiran. If the fielder had been on the boundary, maybe he would have pouched that, made it maybe a bit difficult for himself, but that's a big let off there for Srinivas.
Definitely, yeah. Those are the half chances where if you do take it, it changes the whole momentum of the opposition team, and it makes the other batsmen come in, take probably another over to get in, which in a 20-over game, 1 over is a lot when you don't get the strike rate what you require of 9-10 runs an over.
Then just talking about momentum, as you just mentioned, obviously you've had a tough first game there with the bat against Australia, which puts you in a difficult position already in the group with net run rate. But at the end of the day, you've got 3 games to come now. That's gone through for 4. So Shubham Jadhav just dancing up the wicket, hitting that hard enough to beat long on. Getting going here. Let's just watch him without the helmet on. Doesn't even go that far down the wicket. Just 1 step. Shows his power to beat long on. It's basically, you've got to win 3 in a row here, you'd say, with that net run rate, and that includes South Africa. So you win those 3, then you put yourself in a good position for the semi-finals.
Yeah, definitely. Yesterday's result does not help us, especially with the net run rate. Even if we were to lose, if we had got closer and bring in the net run rate much more better, would have been a good option. But anyways, that's something which we can't do much. For today, the message is basically play normal cricket. Let's not talk about the results at the moment, because sometimes when you start thinking about 3 games from now, you'll not get your results what you want. So we're just trying to take a game at a time, inning by inning. Let's see where we stand up. We have broken down into first 4 overs, which is the power play. We've talked about another 6 overs after that where we want to be. And if we start achieving those targets, then if we have wickets in hand, then we can always readjust our targets and see that we try and bring the net run rate to become a much better from after the yesterday's results. But as of now, that's not our main focus at the moment.
Absolutely. Well, it's a great opportunity for the Singapore players to play against this Kenya side here at the National Stadium in Kenya, Nairobi Gymkhana, up against Hiran Vara, the former Kenya international, and his team. Iconic surroundings, beautiful weather. Hopefully the rains are past and we won't see any of it this week, but middle of a fantastic week of cricket here. So now we're into the 5th over of this LMS Singapore versus Kenya game. The bowler is Sitanshu Dash, coming in with a long hair. Funny little slingy action. Just nudged down. Keeper having to chase that a long way, old Sachin. God, don't think he fancied chasing that far, but he's done the job. Kenyan opening batsman getting going now with Shubham Jadhav, 16 off 10 balls. He's one of the ones to look out for, according to the captain Hiran Viraya. Prashant Srinivas, 23 off 13. A reminder that these players have qualified through the Rhino Cup event up at Old Pedita. It's a great charity cricket event, raising money for rhino conservation, and Hiran and his team consistently are the biggest donors to that tournament. So fantastic to have them involved in this Kenyan team. Dash, Chinese cut there, down towards the boundary. I don't think it will go all the way before. Well, maybe it does. Poor Sachin having to chase that again. He's not having the best of times, Sachin, the wicket keeper. But on that note a bit, Hiran, we should give a shout out to the Kenya team sponsors here. Mario Tours and Sankesh Dedia, one of the owners of Mario Tours. Can you just, I know that they're also the team that you play for at the Rhino Cup, and they sponsor the Kenya team's uniforms at this event and some other costs. Can you just give us a bit of intel on Sankesh and Mario Tours?
Yes, me and him, we go a long way back. We've been neighbors. We know each other since we were kids. We come from the same community, so we've been interacting with each other since long. And I think so, if I'm not wrong, it was around 2016. He heard about the Rhino Cup at Olpajeta, and he's like, let's try and gather a team. Him knowing that I do play cricket regularly, he's like, let's get some few friends, and if you can participate and have some fun in Olpajeta. So I said, why not? It sounds interesting tour, something outside Nairobi. So we started trying to gather some players within our friends, and I think so. For 2016 was our first year. And thereafter, we have not looked back. And for the last 3 or 4 seasons, we've been having 2 teams instead of 1 team, because he started getting a lot of calls from his other friends and his probably customers as well, saying that we would want to join you guys with this Rhino Cup event to come and participate as well. For Sankesh, I think so. He's a very down-to-earth guy. He's a guy who goes out of his way normally to help anyone and everyone if he feels that he's a genuine person and they're really having a point of need. And he has a golden heart. That's what I can say from what I know with Sankesh. And wherever he can, definitely he'll come in and assist in any way he possible from his side. Great
stuff, and thanks to Sankesh and Mario Tours for their sponsorship of this Kenya team. Not only that, but also the Rhino Cup this year. I think they gathered together, I think in the end with all the donations and all that at the tournament, I think it was about $6,500 almost that they contributed this year. So a big shout out to those guys. At the moment in this game, it's 5 overs in with 25% through the game. The score is 48 for none. Harin Parekh coming on to bowl his first over for LMS Singapore. Srinivas and Jadav both with nice starts here, 24 off 14 and 23 off 13 respectively. They're looking good. Harin, from this position, what would you think your target should be with the bat?
We are going 10 runs an over at the moment, and without no loss of wickets. So we will try and again check what our scores are at around between 10 and 12th over, and that's when now we'll try and see what message we want to send out. If we have not lost any more wicket, then we will definitely want to try and push some more in the last 8 overs or so to try and see if we can get anything above 150, 160. If that's possible, that should be a decent score. And of course, if we get to 12th over without any more wickets, then we can still try and see if we can put any more extra pressure on Singapore.
Well, the advance down the wicket, it goes long off, but it beats long off there. Just for a moment there, I thought Jadav could be in trouble. He advanced down, but had it straight enough to beat long off. Boundary there for Shubham. Moves on to 27 off 14 balls. 54 for Kenya. Off 5.2 overs now. So Harin Parekh with a wide and a 4 in his first 3 deliveries. So a little bit of pressure on him. Can he recover? Tossed up. Jadav down the wicket. That's just going to be a single to long off. If we just update you on the other game in Pool A, the under-23 team, LMS Bangladesh, tournament favourites at the moment, posted 191 for 6 after 20 overs, which was a good effort by the under-23 team. Bangladesh started very quickly. They pulled it back very nicely, particularly with 4 overs from John Evayo, who got 3 for 29, bowled tightly there. Great recovery from the Kenyans to restrict the Bangladeshis to 191, and they've just started their run chase now with Tom Ajija and Dennis Kavinya batting. If you want to watch that game, lastmanstands.com/live. But I'd suggest you also stay with us here for Kenya versus Singapore. This is the main Kenya side, or they are the older Kenya side playing now and looking to get their tournament off to a kickstart against Singapore, and it's going well for them so far. 6 overs, 60 for none. Shubham Jadav 28 off 15 and 31 off 18 for Prasant Srinivas. Hiren, I know you've got to get back down to your team. Thanks for joining us. It's been terrific talking to you, and we look forward to hopefully having another few chats during the tournament.
Yeah, definitely, Rob. Thank you very much for having me. And we'll Anytime, whenever you need me, just give me a shout.
Great, thanks, Aaron, and
Thank
good luck.
you, Rob.
So it's Sitanshu Dash to bowl his second over now, side of the 7th over. Again, Prasanth advances down the wicket, plays it out to long off. So Kenya really having a much more solid start today than they did against the Australians yesterday. As the captain Viren Varaya just told us, they were a bit frantic in that, trying to hit boundaries too early. I think too caught up in the short format mentality. Ended up throwing their wickets away and getting bundled out for a low score. Looking to recover here. They need 3 wins, Kenya, from their 3 pool games to advance to the semi-final. Singapore is where it started today. They'll be looking for maximum points from this game. Nothing less will do. Dash comes in. Played across the line by Srinivas. Tries to pick the gap, but it just goes out to long on. Well made up. Sitanshu Dash with his long hair and the zinc almost like war paint all over his face. Bit of a Lasith Malinga kind of look. Doesn't quite add the sling of Malinga, but he has got the unorthodox action as he comes in. Well played by Shubham Jadhav. Gets hold of that. Dispatches it through the leg side for 6. So onto that in a flash. Jadhav beginning to look good here. Let's just have a look at this bit. Short of a length, wide outside off stump, all the time in the world. Jadhav, bang. 35 off 17 balls now. He's one of the batsmen to look out for, as we've just been told by his skipper, Hiren Varaya. So 1 ball left of the 7th over. Kenya going well, 69 for none here. Dash comes in, last ball of the 7th over. Full toss that time. Jadhav doesn't quite get hold of it, but it's enough to pierce the gap wide of long off. He's on to 39 off 18 balls. Full bunger. Sitanshu Dash now. 2 overs, none for 24. So the pressure on him. 7 overs, none for 73. Kenya looking good here against the Singaporeans. Murrah Inc. there just being advertised either side of the scorecard. Martin Murrah, the local logistics manager for this tournament. He's also runs Murrah Inc., which is a clothing and branding company here in Kenya. Provides all the uniforms and equipment for the Rhino Cup up at Old Predator each year, and also kits out the Kenya team, and in this tournament the LMS Kenya team. Also done a lot of branding for this tournament, so thanks Martin Moria and Ian Moria for your efforts in that respect. It's Murrah Inc. for their sponsorship of the Kenya team. Straight down the ground there. Prasanth Srinivas. No need to run. Beautiful stuff. Looks at it, and it's been called a 6. Srinivas on the charge now as well. Harin Parekh under pressure. First ball of his second over. Dispatch back over his head. The last 3 balls for Kenya have now gone for 16. They're on the charge all right. They're looking well set, Srinivas and Jadhav, and this will be giving them a world of confidence. 80 almost on the board now. 7.1 overs outside off stump, and that will be the 80 coming up as Srinivas puts it into the leg side for a single. Question is, these batsmen look so set now. You'd imagine both are going to reach 50. It's a question of who first. Looking very comfortable here, the Kenyans. What have Singapore got? As Parekh got it in to get one of them out. He advances down the wicket, dispatches that over long off. Hard, clean hit. Jadhav moves on to 45 off 19 balls. The Kenyans looking confident now. They've got their eyes in. This is the boost that Kenya needed in this World Cup after their tough induction to the tournament yesterday against the Australians. And this wonderful stump camera view. Parekh has to pull out. Darshak Patel there, the umpire. Veteran of multiple Rhino Cups, flies out from England to umpire there, and he's flown from England to be there. Full toss, advances down the wicket, absolutely smashes that over the boundary, and that is Shubham Jadhav, retired, 51 off 20 balls. Take a bow, Shubham. That's his retirement. Just 20 balls needed. Exceptional innings there. Look at these last 6 balls from Kenya. 6-4, 6-1, 6-6. They're on the charge all right. First of the openers retires. Next batsman in. Who have we got? I think it's Samath Patel. Yes, it is indeed. Kenya on the charge now. 92 after 7.4 overs. While we've got a gap in play, let's have a look at the Kenya under-23 situation. They're struggling with the bat against Bangladesh. 2 early wickets, setting back their run chase. 17 for 2 now. Kenya, after 3 overs, chasing Bangladesh's 192 for victory, so tough ask for them there. It's the last game of the day over at Simba Union. Reminder that there's a... Let's just watch this ball first, just down to long on for a single there to get Samath Patel off the mark. Charity programme will be happening at Simba Union from 4:30 till 6 after the games finish over there, or after this game finishes, Kenya-Bangladesh. So look forward to seeing a lot of the players going and joining in that Foundation for Youth Cricket and Education in Kenya charity programme, where kids will be bussed in from a number of the slum schools around Nairobi that the programme works in. Great opportunity for those kids to play on one of Kenya's international grounds, Simba Union. There'll be coaching going on around the outfield, and it'll be a great experience for them to meet LMS players from around the world. But here, after 8 overs, Kenya 93 for none, looking very good against LMS Singapore. They're on the charge. Sandeep KT on to bowl for the Singaporeans. Can he turn things around for his side? Much needed at the moment. Floats it up. Just bunts it into the offside from Samath Patel. Lovely bloke, Samath. Lives in Dubai now, so he's extended his stay in Kenya by a week to represent Kenya. He is from here, but he normally just comes back for the Rhino Cup and a couple of other times the year, so great that it's timed nicely for him to play in the LMS Kenya team in this World Cup, Samath. Srinivas just nudges it into the offside. But they won't come back for 2. They're comfortable with the single there. Pretty good looking helmet from the wicket keeper there. Sachin. Just kind of helmet you need. Sandeep coming in for his 3rd delivery. Started well so far. But then that one has been dispatched by Samath Patel, and that's poor fielding in the deep out there. Should have been stopped on the boundary. Instead it's 4 for Patel. Cross it early for the slog sweep. Just too much power in the deep. Oh, misjudged it slightly. Maybe a bit unlucky with the bounce. Again, a big shout out to Nairobi Gymkhana, Simba Union and Nairobi Club, the 3 host venues for this tournament. Terrific to be hosted by 3 of the oldest institutions in Kenya in terms of cricket. Samath Patel on strike now, plays it back to the bowler. Well bowled from Sandeep, good turn there. Last ball of Sandeep's first over, wide outside off. Terrific turn again. Well bowled. Excellent end of the over there from Sandeep. He'll be disappointed with that boundary. Should have just been 1. So, bit of tough luck for him, but he's bowled well in that first over, which is very encouraging for Singapore. Score is now 99 for none after 9 overs. Wonderful country to visit, Kenya, and you'll have good hospitality here. Any of you that wish to come to future tournaments in Kenya, to come and play in the Rhino Cup or any other events in Kenya in the years ahead. Wonderful country for safari, obviously truly unique with the wildlife and vistas available to go and see. The new bowler now is Nava Bharat Alimelu. Good first delivery, just a dot off it. Prasanth Srinivas looking to join his opening partner Shubham Jadhav in the sheds. Just 9 runs before his retirement. Plays that out for a single out deep to move on to 42 off 24 balls. So it's the last game of the day here. And over at the other ground, let's just see Barras ball here. Respectfully played by the batsman. Samath Patel moves on to 7 off 6. 2 balls until the turn, and then we'll have a look at what's happening over in the other Pool A game. This is Pool B. Pool A game between Bangladesh and the under-23 Kenyan side. Another single down the ground there from Prasant, so things just slowed up a little bit for Kenya since that burst of 6s and 4s. Last 10 balls, Singapore have managed to rein it in well, so it's the last ball of the 10th over before we change ends. Bharat comes in, fight it up. Ball's gone high in the air. That's a chance, but it falls short, well short of long off. Samath Patel reaching too much for it. Moves on to 8, and that is the halfway point, 103 for none. So we're going to switch ends now. Face 10 overs from the other end. As Kenya look to secure their first match of the tournament, match win of this tournament against Singapore, who likewise are looking for their first win, all to play for in this next 10 overs. Prasant Srinivas looking set, 43 off 26 balls, only 7 runs away from his retirement. As again we look at the iconic venue of Nairobi Gymkhana, the pavilion over to the left, grandstand to the right, the backdrop of the trees and part of Nairobi City in the background. Most of the city actually a bit more towards the left of your screen, you can't quite see it, it's a huge city now, Nairobi. Hard to estimate the population, but probably between 10 and 12 million. Real up-and-coming country, Kenya. Bit of upset at the moment about the current economy and the finances, but generally it's a wonderful country going in the right way, Kenya. So we're delighted to be hosted here in the country, and it's a fantastic experience for all the teams and players involved coming here. Kenyan hospitality is second to none. I know all of the tournament, the umpires are so excited to be a part of it. As we see the 2 Australian team sponsors showing up on our screens. T20 Vision, the sunglasses company, cricketers' sunglasses made by cricketers, with Glenn Maxwell as their main ambassador, and Walker Corporation that has sponsored the Australian team. Australia have the day off today. They're off playing golf and just enjoying their day, and I think will be part of the charity cricket later at the other ground. They're back in action again tomorrow. First up against this same opposition, Singapore versus Australia. First game of the day tomorrow here at Nairobi Gymkhana. Kenya, on the other hand, will be facing South Africa in the afternoon at Simba Union across the road. But now we've got Sandeep back on to bowl his second over. Start the second 10. Kenya just nudging it around now, seemingly content with that little burst that they've had. Srinivas 7 away from his retirement, looking to join Shubham Jadhav in the sheds. They'll all be wanting to get a bit of batting practice in here. I think they're really looking on track for a big score here. I think Singapore are going to find it going tough in this run chase, so it is an opportunity for Kenya here just for the batsmen to get used to being out there in the middle and batting in these conditions in the format. Srinivas on strike, 7 runs away from a 50. Sandeep comes in, puts it short. Srinivas onto that quickly, gets a good amount of bat onto that, hits it towards us over here in the pavilion, and that's another 6. Peter Katuku, the umpire from EOCDT, the charity, signals 6. He's onto that in a flash. Good connection. 49. He's now just 1 run away from a wonderful retirement. Prasant Srinivas. 10.2 overs, 110. Srinivas on 49, not out. Sandeep comes in, wide outside off. Srinivas chases it, gets enough bat on that, and he's pierced the gap. That's a boundary. 53 off 28 runs. Exceptional innings there by Prasant Srinivas. Both the Kenya openers have retired on 50 now. Set a real platform for their team to attack now in the second 10 overs. Well played, Srinivas. Over on the other field, the going gets tougher and tougher for the Kenya under-23 side in pursuit of 192 to beat the Bangladeshis. They're now 5 wickets down for 26 in their 6th over, so after their great bowling effort to keep the Bangladeshi innings in check, unfortunately the batting isn't looking too pretty. No player into double figures yet. 26 for 5 after 5.3 for the Kenyan youngsters. Earlier we saw England dispatch LMS Pakistan for a big win. South Africa were brutal. The first match of the day against UAE. South Africa looking really good in this tournament. Well, the rest of the world also came out victorious against Kenya under-23 side. So the strongest teams in this tournament emerging. If we look across the 2 pools at the moment, the picks really are South Africa, England, the rest of the world, Bangladesh and Australia. They've really looked the part so far, those 5 teams. Samath Patel pushing it out into the offside there. End of the 11th over. Kenya move on to 118 for none. Reminder to you all, if you want to follow the action on social media, facebook.com/Last Man Stands, will go on to Instagram, Last Man Stands T20 Cricket. Check out all the tournament reels, the clips, the highlights. Like the pages, follow the pages. It's an exceptional production effort here by the LMS streaming team at Nairobi Gymkhana, really taking things to another level. Start of the 12th over. We have Barath Alemelu back on. Toss it up there. Choked appeal. Just a single. Samath moves on to 11 runs off 10 deliveries. And we've got Hirani AJ Ravji at the crease. He's an exceptional bowler, AJ Hirani. He may open for Kenya, I would have thought, today, along with Martin Akoth. Goes for a bit hoik first up and lucky to get away with that. So still no wickets for Singapore in this match. Can they snare their first one here? Barath puts it a bit flatter. Easily played off his legs by Samath Patel. Found the going tough so far in this tournament, the Singaporeans, but they definitely came to enjoy their time in Kenya, and they're certainly doing that. Terrific to have them involved in this tournament. Well, what kind of target would Kenya want from here? The projected score is up at 205 at the moment. That's wide outside off stump. AJ reaches for it, doesn't find the gap, but that was helped by 2 quick retirements, or pretty quick retirements, from Shivam Jadav, Prasant Srinivas. These 2 guys just building for an assault in the later overs. Samath Patel will probably be feeling like he's faced 11 deliveries now. He should be in a position to go for it pretty soon. There's still quite a lot of batting left in this Kenya lineup, and they'll be wanting to get everyone out there to get a feel of the action. Earlier today, we saw South Africa dispatch of UAE. They needed less than 6 overs to chase their victory target of 58 in that game. Rest of the world chased down their target against LMS Kenya in 19 overs. While England won by almost 100 runs against LMS Pakistan. Another Chinese cut there for the Kenyans. Get 3 off it. AJ Irani moves on to 6. 125 for none for the Kenyans. .1 overs. The umpire is Peter Katuku down this end, one of the charity umpires from the East Africa Character Development Trust, which is aligned with the FISEC charity, the Foundation for Youth Cricket and Education in Kenya. Charity being supported throughout this tournament. Peter and his colleagues, not only cricket coaches, but they're all registered umpires as well. Excellent players also, helping develop Kenya cricket through coaching up to 5,000 kids a week across slum schools across Nairobi. A terrific charity initiative. For any of you out there wanting more information on the charity, please look up East African Character Development Trust. They've got a website online. You can get in touch to support the charity. That would be terrific. Sandeep comes in, 4th ball of his 3rd over. Doesn't quite get hold of it. Goes down the ground. So Spectacular seems to have stopped for Kenya, but they're just nudging their way towards a big total. Sandeep comes in, last ball of his 3rd over. Respectively played by Patel, just into the leg side, so the score moves on to 128 for none after 13 overs. .14th over, so 35 deliveries left in this innings. A reminder that a last man stands overs are 5 balls, not 6 balls, to help get the game in just over 2 hours. So we'll have Sandeep on to bowl his last over for the 14th over. The Kenyan innings. Just out to the leg side there. So a lot of singles happening here for Kenya, but they've really got to start looking at some of the bigger shots, using this as practice for the games where the singles won't do. Shivam Jadhav and Prasant Srinivas really got them going today and batted exceptionally well. These two feeling their way into form, but that's still important for the later games. Getting used to the format, how to play it. .2 overs now, and that's what was needed. Big levers there from AJ Harani, and that is a big, big 6. He looks like a bit of a danger man here, AJ Harani. Exceptional bowler as well. Just advanced a couple of steps down the wicket. Really swung through that. Let's have a look at this replay. 1, 2, boom. Right back over the media centre. I think into the car park as well. Bit of pressure now on Barath Elimelu as finally the ball comes back to him. It bowled pretty tightly before that ball, but he's just been dispatched for 6, so pressure on. How can he respond? Apologies, that was just bunted into the offside there. Samath Patel was actually the hitter for that 6. Apologies for my error there. AJ Harani tries to do the same, but just goes out to the leg side. So projects the score around 200 now. .14th over. coming to an end. Samath Patel 21 off 17 balls, having hit that massive 6. That will help to get him going. Irani, AJ Ravji 9 off 8. Tanshu Dash 2 overs, none for 24. Apologies for my error in the commentary box with naming. AJ wearing a Patel shirt, his friend Jamin Patel, both members of the Meru Cricket Club, so shirt name wise 2 Patels at the crease, but certainly not actually 2 Patels at the crease unless Jamin comes in next. Tanshu Dash comes into bowl, and that's clubbed down the ground with such power that it'll beat the long off fielder. So AJ Hirani getting going, 13 off 9 balls now after 14.1 overs. The war paint like Dash coming in, decent ball outside off, just a bit too full, clubbed, long off fielder. Oh, he'll be disappointed with that, so will the bowler. Second ball of Dash's third over. He's got none for 28 so far. Better length there. Hit out towards the offside just for the single. Singapore will be intimidated by this run chase, but I'm sure they'll give it a crack. They found the going tough so far in this tournament, Singapore, and today not looking like being any different. Samath Patel moves on to 22 with that single. Let's have a quick look at the Kenya under-23 situation. They're really struggling with the bat there. Now 47 for 6 after 9 overs, so goes from bad to worse for the Kenya under-23 side. Dash puts it a bit short, well fielded in deep, just another single there, so it's a good tight over from Sitanshu Dash. Went for a boundary on his first delivery, but has come back with 3 singles. Once the Kenya under-23 match is over, then we'll have a look at the updated standings for the 2 pools. This is the last ball of the 15th over, though. LMS Kenya 145 for none. Hit the deep mid-wicket there. That'll just be a single. End of the 15th over, 146 for none. Samath Patel looking good, 23 off 19 balls. AJ Hirani, 15 off 11 balls. We've got 25 balls left in this innings. Can Kenya reach 200 in that time? It's looking like a big ask, but that's what they'll be targeting. Bit of an overcast day today after a few days of sunshine. We have Edwin Sudaka coming back on to bowl. Figures 2 overs, none for 19 so far. Can he be the first Singaporean to take a wicket in this match today? Hasn't been too many chances, but they'll be desperate for a wicket here. Come on, Edwin. What have we got? Short. Into the pitch. Just a single out to long on. So when we look at the fielders, we got a deep square leg, a deep point, deep cover, deep mid-wicket, long off and long on the boundary. Relatively orthodox for the spinner. No one behind square. He's hit that pretty hard. Has it gone all the way? It has, and a long way all the way. Into the pavilion. Past the media wall. Excellent hit there. He was onto that in a flash. Really just opened his arms, AJ Hirani. Now he moves on to 21 off 12, looking dangerous. Could this be the kickstart he needs for his tournament? He's playing his first game. He wasn't around yesterday. Clubs that down the ground. That should just be 1 to long on. So we see the Kenya team sponsor in the background, Mario Tours, as Hiran was saying. Wonderful supporters of the charity effort and the Rhino Cup and the Kenya team. Sankesh Dedia and Mario Tours. Samath Patel now facing 24 not out. He's got hold of that hard, but it won't beat the mid-wicket fielder. So just another single. Can you move on to 155 for no loss? Last ball of the 16th over here. Fine Kenya performance so far with the bat, bouncing back from their loss yesterday against Australia when they really didn't do themselves justice. 155 for none after 16 overs now, so 20 balls left, 2 well-placed batsmen. What can Kenya get to here? See quite murky conditions now, overcast here in Nairobi. We're at a height of 1,750 metres altitude, so relatively high altitude, one of the higher cricketing international venues in the world. Nairobi, a big city now. Many exceptional grounds and cricket clubs across the city. Still, this one, the Premier, one of them, the national ground. Ball comes in, they'll make it back for 2 quite comfortably though. Nairobi club, unfortunately, due to the waterlogging of the pitch, although it's looking okay now, just not as in good nick as Simba Union, one of the other top grounds in the country. So games have been switched from Nairobi club to Simba Union as the second ground for this tournament. But here's the main tournament hub, Nairobi Gymkhana, and what a hub it is. As Samath Patel just flicks that away off his legs, a beautiful shot to move on to 31 off 23 balls. It's looking good now, Samath. Hit that big 6 down the ground. Quickly off his legs there. He'll be gunning for a 50 retirement here. Let's have a look at this. Couple of steps down, flicked off his legs with power. Absolutely no chance for a deep square leg fielder to get around there. Nihar Joshi comes in. Third ball of his third over. Played into the leg side by Samath Patel. It's going to run all the way. The fielder can't quite get round there, so successive boundaries for Samath Patel. He's on the charge now, 35 off 24 balls. Let's have a look at this again. Again, little step down and across the leg side. Nihar Joshi. 2 balls left in his third over, under a bit of pressure here. Can he bounce back? He's gone for 10 off this over so far. Joshi comes in. Right arm over the wicket. Wide outside off stump. That's a good ball. Just borderline, but that was the correct call from the umpire, I think. Excellent lines there from Nihar Joshi. Last ball of the 17th over coming up. This LMS World Cup clash between Singapore and Kenya. Again, good lines. Big swing from Samath Patel. No connection though. Over finishes, 17 overs, 165 for none. 2 batsmen looking well set. Can one of them get to 50 with a few big hits before the end? Be interesting to see another couple of the Kenyan batsmen getting out there and getting a bit of middle time. They've got some big matches ahead of them, Kenya, if they're going to progress in this tournament. None more so than the game tomorrow against South Africa at Simba Union. Kenya really have to win these 3 pool games that they have remaining, including today, to have any chance of progression after their heavy defeat against Australia yesterday. Kenya under 23s on the other hand. Big hit there by Hirani. AJ Hirani over the media centre, over Blake van der Linde. Massive sixes signalled by Peter Katuku, the umpire. When he gets hold of them, they go far. AJ Hirani. It's good batting practice for the Kenyans for the big matches ahead. Kenya under 23 struggling at 54 for 7 after 10 overs against the Bangladeshis over at Simba Union. So after a spirited effort with the ball. Good question. Tournament director Bjorn Briggs asking where these guys were yesterday. AJ Hirani hadn't made it down from up country yet. He's from Meru, wonderful part of Kenya up in the northeast. Let's just watch this ball. Full toss. He hasn't got hold of that one. There's a chance for the first Singapore wicket. Oh, it's full safe. Unlucky for Bharath Alamelu. Hirani and Jamin Patel coming into the side today. They both play for Meru Cricket Club, who are actually the Rhino Cup champions this year. Exceptional cricket club from east of Mount Kenya. Meru is the area for those of you that have watched Born Free and going free and whatever, forever free, all that tack about a bunch of little lions and a foreign woman that likes bringing them up. Lovely cuddly toy story with a bit of violence interspersed. Worth a watch, mainly for the scenery. Anyway, that's the part of Kenya that's all filmed in. As we see another boundary hit by Samath Patel. Has a wonderful national park near there called Mary National Park, full of big lions, elephants. So if you're ever doing a cricketing tour to Kenya and you want a safari out there in Meru, and you want to play against AJ Harani and his teammates up at Meru, they'd love to host you. Clubbed down the ground, just a single there. So we see T20 Vision, the Australia sponsors, sunglasses for cricketers, made by cricketers, Walker Corporation, the other Australia sponsors, being shown again. Again across the line, Kenya really going across the line to a lot of these deliveries now, as they try to get up to 200 in this innings. End of the over from Barath. Samath Patel still targeting his 50. AJ Harani looking good. Share Trip, the Bangladeshi sponsor, showing up there. Mushku, Expressions, Tech Republic. Thanks to all the tournament sponsors that help make this a reality for a lot of the players involved. Chance to come here to Kenya, a wonderful country, be hosted exceptionally well. Two of the top cricket clubs in the country and the whole region of East Africa. Great spirit amongst all of the teams. It's more than just a sporting and cricketing event here. It's a big social experience for everyone involved and highlight of the year for many of us. Score now 178 for none after 18 overs. Can Kenya get to 200? AJ Harani plays it out to the offside. That one's just a single. Are they going to come back for two? Good running from Irani. Samath Patel not in trouble there. Makes it back comfortably in the end. 180. 9 balls to go. Can LMS Kenya get past 200, which will be a big confidence boost for the team? Reminder that, let's just watch this first. Doesn't get hold of that. Just a single for AJ Harani. Brings Samath Patel on strike. He's on 40. Can he get to his retirement? 50 runs. Join Shubham Jadhav and Prasant Srinivas in the sheds. Eight balls left of this innings. Niyar Joshi comes in wide outside off stump. Samath has got hold of that, but it hasn't gone far enough to cover. Fielder comes in. They're coming back for two. He'll move on to 42 runs. Good running there from the Kenyans. "17 runs for the side to get above the 200, which is always a good marker in a tournament of a decent batting side. So we see some of the Australians arrive here. The ground, Big Ziad Abbas, Danny Batra. That's a big hit there from Samath Patel. Moves on to 48 off 30 balls. He's really got going here. Great to see. Good power just off his legs. Picks it up behind square. Easily clears the ropes. LMS Kenya putting down a marker for the tournament. The Australians turning up, having easily dispatched of Kenya yesterday, but now seeing a completely different LMS Kenya batting lineup. 189 for none in the 19th over. Great to see the Australian side having partaken in the Rhino Cup up at Old Pedder. Just as we watch this last ball, where has that one gone? Over the boundary again. Samath Patel retires in style. 54 off 31 balls. Really got going there, Samath. Good power off his legs. Let's just watch this. Boom. Excellent power. Clears the ropes over towards the pavilion. Into Nick Murphy, the Australian that took a fifer for them, for the Australians against Kenya yesterday. Samath finishes in style with 2 successive sixes. Excellent dig from him. So 3 retirements now for Kenya. They move on to 195 for none with 1 over left. AJ Harani out there, 33 off 19, going well. He's going to be joined at the crease, I think, by Martin Akoff, who also can be a big hitter. Be good for him to have a bit of middle time as Kenya look for the most unlikely of qualification chances after their belting yesterday at the hands of Australia. They need to beat South Africa tomorrow, and this will help build their confidence for that game. AJ Hirani will be on strike for the last over as Sandeep KT comes in, frees his arms. AJ Hirani, big hit again. Kenya on the charge now. 3 successive sixes and big sixes at that. Kenya laying down a bit of a marker here, 201. They would have hoped to have had this as their first game rather than against the Australians, just to get used to the format, but they're looking good now. Look how big that six is, right onto the roof of the main pavilion. AJ Hirani, 39 off 20. 3 successive sixes for Kenya as they close out their innings here. Pressure on Sandeep KT. Tosses it up, outside off, and he goes hard again. Has that gone all the way? No, it hasn't. That's the first wicket for Singapore on the boundary. Well held there, under pressure. Quality stuff. Well done to Singapore. They've kept at it, and they've got their reward in the last over. They've taken their first wicket of the innings. Great to see. Well done to Sandeep KT. Kept at it. Good hands on the boundary. Very solid. Managed to steady himself back in. Excellent work out there in the deep. Niyar Joshi, the taker. Hirani, AJ Ravji goes 39 of 21 balls. 3 sixes in that dig. Jamin Patel, another member of the Meru Cricket Club side, comes out to the crease. 3 deliveries to go. First wicket down for Kenya. 2 new batsmen at the crease. Score is 201 for 1. Can Singapore take another wicket? Toss up by Sandeep. Down the wicket. Jamin Patel chips it towards mid-wicket. They're going to look for 2. No, they're just taking the single. Good throw in there from the mid-wicket fielder. So 2 balls left in this LMS Kenya first innings. 202 on the board. They'll be confident of victory with that. They need a victory in maximum points so to stand a realistic chance of progression. They still need 2 wins for that. Hit in the gap. Is it hard enough? Well fielded in the deep by Niyar Joshi. Puts it back in quickly underarm. Kenya with 2 runs there for Martin Akoff, and this is the final delivery. A reminder that if this is hit for 6, it's a home run, which is worth 12. So Akoff will be looking to clear the boundary here as Sandeep comes in for his final delivery. Wide outside off stump. He goes hard. He hasn't quite got enough of it. Just goes along on fielder. Jamin Patel coming back. Well run to Kenya finish up on 206 for 1 off their 20 overs. Great batting performance from the Kenyans. They'll be very happy with that. They'll be disappointed that they didn't have this innings first up to start their tournament. Entered it roughly with their game against Australia yesterday, but this is a real confidence booster for the Kenyan side. 206 for 1 after 20 overs as they chase 3 wins out of their final 3 pool games to try and qualify for the latter stages in Saturday's finals day here at Nairobi Gymkhana. Wonderful first innings from the Kenyans. The openers started it all off. Shubham Jadhav led the way with 51 of 20 balls. Srinivas, 55 of 28 balls. Number 3, Samath Patel, 54 of 31 balls. All 3 batsmen really got going with big sixes. Then a quick fire, 39 of 21 balls, including 3 sixes from AJ Hirani. Akoff and Patel not out at the end with 4 and 1. Big total of 206 for the Kenyans. Excellent innings. With the ball, tough going for the Singapore bowlers. All round, they all got a bit of tap. Sandeep KT, the pick of the bowlers, going at 9 and over and taking a wicket as well. They kept at their task, and great to see them get their wicket in the last over. But at the end of the first innings of this match, 206 for 1. Well played to Kenya. We look forward to you joining us for the second innings in 5 to 10 minutes' time. So welcome back to Nairobi Gymkhana, the national ground of Kenya here in East Africa for the second innings of this LMS Kenya versus Singapore match. Big ask here for the Singaporeans. 207 to win against the Kenyan side. Saw 3 retirements in the Kenya innings. Singapore looking for their first win of the tournament, as are Kenya, albeit Kenya only playing their second game after a tough induction against LMS Australia yesterday. They'll be confident of defending this total, and I know that they're going out there aiming to restrict the Singaporeans to less than, what will it be, about 164 or something, I think will be for the bonus point mark. I'll give you the exact figure soon. If Kenya restrict Singapore below that level of their 20 overs, then they'll pick up maximum points from this game, which is what they desperately need to do as they seek to qualify for the semi-finals. Big game for them tomorrow against South Africa over at Simba Union. So the opening bowler here for Kenya will be Martin Okoth up against Nihal Joshi, who's opening the batting with Sachin Pasumamula. First ball of the Singapore run chase. Lovely play out to deep point from Joshi to get off the mark straight away. Look at this field. There's a fine third man. Samath Patel is also deep backward point, then a long off, and a deep cover, long on, deep mid wicket. So using the fielding power play here, Kenya straight up to have 4 on the offside of the wicket. So Okoth will be looking to keep this well outside off, not give a chance for the Singaporeans to get it to the leg side where he's only protected by 2 fielders. Reminder that the fielding power play takes place in the first 4 overs and the last 2 overs of each innings. Well, he's put it right on the batsman, as I've said that, played it into the leg side. They should have had 2 there. Sachin Pasumamula off the mark. 2 singles off the first 2 balls. Wonderful view there of Nairobi Gymkhana, the national ground in Kenya, the iconic acacia trees around it. Outside off there. Through to the keeper. Okoth has started tightly here. 2 singles and a dot ball so far. Okoth, can he pick up his first wheel of the tournament? Wide outside off again. He's doing his job during the power play here, forcing the issue for the batsman. Good lines here from the Kenya opening bowler. Sachin Pasumamula looking from the non-striker's end. Great group of guys, these Singaporeans. Okoth comes in, final delivery of the first over, seems right out there, must have gone over the line, and it has. That's a wide, signalled by Darshak Patel. Regular here in Kenya each year for the Charity Rhino Cup. He flies out from England each year to umpire that tournament. Terrific, generous guy, so wonderful to have Darshak involved here in the LMS World Cup as well. Okoth comes in, hits the batsman high, going over the stump, strangled appeal from Okoth. Patel says no. Let's just have a look at this. Clearly going over the stumps here. Lovely bowling from Okoth though, good power, hits a nice length, seams in beautifully. That brings an end to a great first over from Martin Okoth. 3 runs from it. Look at this. Good height with the delivery. Jags back in. Well bowled. Here we have AJ Hirani, who only on Sunday bowled the over at the death in the Rhino Cup up at Old Pedder Conservancy against the Australian team. The LMS Australian team played up there as a warm-up to this tournament. They played under the name Boxing Kangaroos rather than the Australia representative side. They reached the final where they lost to AJ Hirani's Meru Cricket Club. Hirani had to bowl the last over under pressure. The Australian scenting victory and bowled an exceptional last over, and he started very well here. Broken the stump out there in the middle. AJ Hirani, what an entrance to the LMS World Cup. It's taken in 2 deliveries to clean break centre stump and send Nihar Joshi on his way. Welcome to the Last Man Stands World Cup, Hirani. Quite the entrance there. Just as we were talking him up for his Rhino Cup heroics, he's given a marker already about how to bowl here. Interesting here. Bit of stump cam damage. Bit of waving going on. Was that a broken stump, or is it just the camera that's had a bit of a shocker? There's another stump coming out which suggests it is broken. Sadly, I think we may... they're going to be able to replace stump cam here, as Hirani just deprived us of that great addition to our camera artillery. Great start here from the Kenyans. 4 runs only in the first 7 deliveries. The first wicket there from Hirani. Can't quite see what's happening there. The production team out. Concern all round about the stump cam damage. Well, they put the new stump in. Can't quite see with Darshak Patel's leg inopportunely placed. Oh, he's really covering what's happened there. Are we going to still have a stump cam? That's the question. A lot of analysis here. Only one way to find out. 4 runs for 1 wicket, 1.2 overs. Singapore, the serious run chase ahead of them. Entrance for AJ Hirani. He batted well, and he started well with the ball here. Well, how did Kenya need him yesterday against the Australians, who he triumphed over on up at El Pedita, but he lives 6 hours away from Nairobi, so due to work reasons could only get down for today, so he missed the opening pool game, and the Kenyans would have been gutted with that. And he's put down the ball there, which would have been a 2nd wicket in a row. He's wearing Patel on the back of his shirt, but it's not Patel, it's Hirani bowling. Jamin Patel, his good friend, also has come down from up at Meru, up country. And a shout out to the 2 Moria brothers, Martin and Ian, both from the Meru region of Kenya, who are the local logistics managers for this tournament and putting in terrific work to host all the teams in the tournament here. So a lot of Meru connections all round in this game and tournament. Sandeep KT is the new batsman who's joined Sachin Pasumamula at the crease. 1 ball left in the 2nd over. Singapore under pressure here against LMS Kenya. The LMS Kenya side looking to get the first East African win on the board after the under-23 side went down in both their games today against the rest of world team in a tight match. And then despite bowling well against Bangladesh, they had a capitulation with the bat to lose heavily in their 2nd game of the day. They've got a double header again tomorrow, Kenya under-23, but they've got a mountain to climb now to qualify for the semi-finals after 2 losses in their first 2 games. When we look at the table in Pool A, the other pool, not the one we're looking at here with Kenya, Bangladesh topping the table, 3 wins out of 3, 28 points. Rest of world, 2 wins out of 2, 18 points. England, 1 win, 1 loss in their 2 games in 3rd spot, 14 points. Kenya under-23 side and Pakistan both on 6 points down at the bottom. So Bangladesh a shoe-in for the semi-finals now with only 1 pool game to play. In this group, South Africa and Australia both have 2 wins out of 2. UAE 1 win and 2 losses in their 3 games. Singapore looking for their first win in their 3rd game here, while Kenya just playing their 2nd game, having lost the first heavily to Australia yesterday and looking to bounce back. So here in Varaya now, the LMS Kenya captain. We're honoured to have him in the commentary box earlier, hearing his insights of the game. He's played almost 90 games for Kenya, left arm spin bowler, and he'll be crucial to Kenya's chances in this tournament, and specifically against South Africa tomorrow, which is a real must-win game for Kenya now, and that's going to be a tough ask, but be interesting to see how the Kenyans do there. Viraya, his 4 overs will be key with the spin bowling. Third over here, only 10 runs on the board for Singapore. Viraya comes in flat, ball goes up in the air. Is it going to carry to the fielder? Interestingly, bounces right next to the fielder. Really misjudged it there. Let's have a look. Edged up in the air. Jamin Patel seemingly just lost it there. Just went over his head and bounced away for 4. Viraya's head in his hands. That should have been the second Kenya wicket there. Instead it's 4 runs. Unlucky for Viraya. Sachin Pasu Mamula up against the former Kenya captain Hiran Viraya. Toss it up there. Pushes him down the ground. Well played from Sachin. Long off will cut it off just for the single. Hit nicely out towards the covers there, and he's picked the gap beautifully there, Sandeep KT. Hit the former Kenyan captain and the current LMS Kenya captain here in Viraya through the covers for 4. So 12 off Viraya's first over. He'll be disappointed with that. He's the frontline bowler for Kenya. Three overs down. 19 for 1 the score. A reminder that over at Simba Union at the moment we have the Foundation for Youth Cricket and Education in Kenya charity program starting. Just a wonderful shot there from Sandeep. Opened up and beautifully hit through the covers. Excellent shot. If you're interested in finding out more about the charity, which is helping grassroots cricket development in Kenya, coaching up to 5,000 kids a week across slum schools across Nairobi, please visit the East Africa Character Development Trust website. Shout out to Mario Tours that you see on screen now, the Kenya team sponsors, and Sankesh Dedio in particular. Sachin Pasu Mamula facing up against AJ Hirani. Almost gets another wicket there to be played on. Just 3 off AJ Hirani's first over. He looked very dangerous. Just see this, just angled in. Going down the leg side. Gets all a bit mixed up with it, Sachin. Wide outside off stump, and that's a lovely shot there. Can't beat the fielder though, backward point. Comes round, picks it up. Steadily going along here, Singapore, but they really have a long way to go in this match. AJ Hirani in again, on the legs, beautifully played there from Sandeep KT. Looks like quite the batsman here. Okoth makes a bit of a meal of it out in the deep, but keeps it in. Just the 2 runs there. 3.3 overs gone, 22 for 1. As Singapore search for an unlikely victory here. AJ Hirani in again. Lovely shot from Sandeep. He really looks like quite the player. He's playing the shots all around the ground here, Sandeep. Look at this, just opens up, dispatch, wonderful shot. Through point, square drive, excellent stuff. 1 ball left in the 4th over. Sandeep KT seems to hold the key for Singapore here. Can he keep this going? At this rate, he'll be retiring in just over 20 balls. If he carries on like this. Plays up again, AJ Hirani. Lovely shot again. He's got all the shots. Beautifully placed down towards backward point, but just a single there. 180 now needed off 80 balls. A real tough ask here for the Singaporeans. Four overs, 27 for 1 the score. LMS Singapore up against LMS Kenya. Dominic Wasonga on to bowl now. Frontline bowler for Kenya, along with Martin Akoff with the ball, with the seam, along with AJ Hirani as well. Jamie Patel also will have a big say in the bowling attack, along with Hiran Vora, the captain. Sandeep out to the deep, really looking the part here, moves on to 17 off 9 balls. Songa's first ball, good lines, outside off. Songa comes in again. Sachin Pasumamula nudges the ball down towards mid-wicket. They're just going to get the one there. Looking for some middle time here, Singapore. I think they probably don't expect to chase these runs, but be making a good fist of it here. Almost on 30 in the 5th over. Songa comes in again. Beautiful bowling. Beats the gap. Sandeep KT had looked so good. Then just left a bit of a gap there and a bit of seam movement in. Let's just have a look at this. This terrific delivery here from Wasonga. Comes in, a little bit of movement in, and then look at that seam. Just jag back, hits the top of off. Excellent delivery from Dominic Wasonga there. Beautiful lines. Let's have a look from the other angle here. Wide, touch of movement in, but it's just that seam jag back in, and it almost ends up hitting middle as well. Inch perfect delivery. Well bowled Wasonga. Barath Alamelu coming to the crease in the 5th over for Singapore. It's wonderful to see footage coming from Simba Union across the road of all the charity kids from around Nairobi coming in from slum schools around Nairobi. They're at Simba Union, and the Bangladeshi team and some of the Australians and a few of the other teams are over there at the moment giving the kids advice. Wonderful to see them all interacting. It will be a real highlight for those kids who are just loving cricket, trying to get into cricket, the future of cricket in this country. So wonderful to see that charity effort happening over at Simba Union at the moment. Excellent bowling there from Dominic Wasonga. Almost picks up a second wicket. He's bowled really well his first over. Last ball of it now, end of the 5th over. Can he snare another one? Well played from Sachin. Down to backward point just for a single. Brings an end to the 5th over. Fine first over from Dominic Wasonga. 4 runs from it. And a wicket. So start of the 6th over, the run chase really looking quite difficult here now for LMS Singapore. 75 balls, but they need 176. Kenya's priority is to try to keep them below about 163, I think it is, for the bonus points. A reminder that 2 points are available to one of the two sides. If you win by more than 20%, you get the 2 points, or if you lose by less than 20%, you get the 2 points. Jamin Patel with his first delivery, tidy bowling, hit back to the bowler. So the actual target is 165. So if Singapore get to 165, they get 2 losing bonus points. If Kenya restrict them to 164 or less, Kenya pick up the maximum 10 points, which is a must for them, having gone down heavily to the Australians yesterday. Patel comes in again, Jamin Patel, and the ball's hit out by Sachin Pasumamula to the leg side. Barath Alimelu. It's got a 1 run on the board already. Up against Jamin Patel from Meru Cricket Club. Comes in. Tidy delivery on the stumps. Unlucky not to snare his first wicket there. Oh, what a terrific delivery that was from Dominic Wasonga. Jamie Patel trying to follow suit. Puts it on the money spot. But Bharat gets it away there. They run the first one hard. They'll come back for a second. Hiren Varara comes round to pick it up. Jamie Patel coming up to bowl the last delivery of his first over. Tidy first over so far. Into the pads. He'll go across, field off his own bowling. Just 3 off his first over. Brings it into the 6th over. 34 for 2. Good bowling by Kenya so far. Seam movement in from Jamie Patel there. This match looks like it's going Kenya's way at the moment. But they need maximum points. They know they need maximum points if they're to keep up an unlikely charge towards the semi-finals. They need 3 wins out of 3, including over one of the tournament favourites, South Africa. Start of the 7th over, and we've got Dominic Wasonga back into the attack. 173 runs needed off 14 overs. Keeper well back for Wasonga. He's got a bit of pace. Comes up, skids through. Excellent bowling by Wasonga. He had terrific first over. Can he follow it up in the second here? Comes in once again. Good line, centre stump. Respectfully played by the batsman. Almost cut out by Wasonga, but they'll get a single. Wasonga in again. Lovely play. Bharat Alemelu looking terrific so far, but that's just cut out in the deep. They need more than this though, Singapore. They really need the boundaries and the sixes to start flying. Victory target looks a long way off at the moment. Songa comes in, 4th delivery of his second over. Outside off, just nudged into the offside there from Bharat. Almost 7 overs gone, scores 38 for 2. Let's have a look at the replay here. Nice lines there from Wasonga. Last ball of the 7th over, Wasonga comes in. Just bunted down the ground there from Sachin, who moves on to 13. 39 for 2 after 7 overs. So start of the 8th over. 39 for 2, LMS Singapore up against LMS Kenya. Jamin Patel from Meru Cricket Club back into the attack. Darshik Patel, the umpire, and we can see Shubham Jadhav, who earlier hit a quick-fire 55 not out, opening the batting with the gloves. Patel comes in, onto the legs, just nudged away to square leg. The keeper should be able to field it, and he does, to cut off the 2. Again, really great to have you all watching us here in Kenya for this LMS World Cup. Terrific to have the tournament based out of the National Stadium for the entire week, and an amazing experience for all these foreign visitors to Kenya. Really hope that it encourages you all to return to Kenya many times in the future. albeit for a cricket tour, cricket tournaments, or just safaris. Beautiful beaches in Kenya as well, down on the coast. Wonderful hospitality across the country. Exceptional tourist destination. So if you're interested in visiting Kenya, just get in touch with us. Kenya@lastmanstands.com, and we can put you in the right direction. Sachin Basumamula pushes it out into the offside. He's ticking along well here, getting his eye in nicely. Some brutal hitting earlier in the Kenya innings. Saw 13 sixes hit in the 20 overs as they racked up 206 in the first innings. Jamie Patel comes in. Tidy lines. He's only gone for 5 runs in his 9 deliveries so far. He'll be desperate for a wicket. Last ball of the 8th over. Jamie Patel up against Bharat Alimelu. Outside off stump. Played out to the deep. Is that going to pierce the gap? No, it doesn't. Hiren Varaya, the captain, picks the ball up. They'll come back for 2. Move on to 44 for 2 after 8 overs. LMS Singapore. The unlikely run chase of 207 for victory. Kenya aiming to keep them below 165 to pick up maximum points. The Australians and the South Africans in premier position in Pool B, having picked up 2 wins in each of their first 2 games. Heading up the table, Kenya need maximum points today. They need to hope that Australia have a bit of a slip up against Singapore, which seems pretty unlikely with the strength of the Australian batting lineup going right down to number 8 as we saw yesterday. The best chance Kenya will have of progressing is to cause an upset against South Africa and hope that the Australians also do them a favour against South Africa. They've got to keep winning those games. Hiren Varaya, the captain, back in the attack, flighted up there. Reminder that Hiren Varaya, former Kenya captain, played best part in 90 ODI and T20 internationals for Kenya. A lot of experience. He's only 40 years old, so still got the skills there. 162 needed off 59 balls. And thanks to all our tournament sponsors that you see coming up on the screen. If you want any more information about the sponsors, obviously just Google the names and LMS World Cup, find out more about them. Particularly Marriott Tours showing up now, who are sponsoring the Kenya team out there at the moment. Big shout out to them. Great bowling from Hiren Varaya. How did that miss? Wow. Must have just skimmed over the bails there. Terrific delivery. Look at this. Beautiful. Unbelievable how that missed. 46 for 2 now. Similar delivery, just a bit more turn. Songa hurls the ball back in. Beautiful movement in. Whoa, it must have just been an inch or so at most above the bails. So Bharat Alimelu facing against former Kenyan international captain. Too much spin for him. Great over there from Hiren Varaya. Went for 12 of his first, just 2 off his second there. Just look at him come in. Beautiful action. Lovely flight. Big turn there. Excellent bowling by the LMS Kenya captain. Showing his class. 9 overs, 47 for 2. 1 over until the turn. Reminder to all of you that this is the peak of LMS cricket globally. Peak event, national selection. Singapore finding the going tough. There's some big countries playing LMS with a lot of players. The top teams from South Africa and Australia and England and Bangladesh all represented here in this event. Some serious talent. They look like 4 of the favourites for this tournament. Great play there by Sachin Pasumamula. Onto the leg side. First ball of the 10th over against Jamin Patel. Advanced down the wicket and just pushed him through the leg side. .156 required off 54 balls now. Second ball of the 10th delivery. And he's absolutely cleaned him up there. Sachin advanced down the wicket, trying to do the same trick again. He was on 19 off 19 balls. He'd had a good knock. Let's see, 2 steps down the wicket, swing down the ground. Lovely bowling from Jamin Patel. Clips the top and middle. Picks up his first wicket in the LMS World Cup. Well batted to Sachin as Ashish goes out to replace him. 19 off 20 balls. Let's just see this. Not quite the delivery you wanted to do that to. Perfect. Ball clipping the top of centre stump. Well bowled, Jamin. So 9.2 overs gone. 51 for 3 the score now. LMS Singapore against LMS Kenya. Three deliveries left. 10th over. And they'll turn, change ends, bowl 10 from the other end. New batsman to the crease. Ashish Gandham. Singapore in need of some heroics here, now requiring pretty much 3 a ball to win this game. Jamin Patel come in on the stumps. Nicely played by Ashish to get himself off the mark. Just a single there, out to the deep. Two deliveries left in Jamin's third over, looking for his second wicket. Fights it up there, lovely play into the offside. Just be another single though, as here in Varai if it does the fielding. Kenya captain. One ball left, 10th over. Last ball before the turn of ends. Jamin Patel comes in, outside off, bunted back to him. Excellent bowling. He's got good figures so far. 1 for 13 off 3 overs for the Mary Cricket Club bowler. 10 overs gone, and that's the halfway point. 53 for 3 is the score. Singapore need 112 off the next 10 overs to secure the losing bonus points. Or for the most unlikely of wins, they need 154 off just 50 balls now. Reminder that tomorrow sees some cracking games here in the LMS World Cup. None less so than Bangladesh versus rest of world, who've both won all of their games so far. That's taking place at 12 o'clock here at Gymkhana. Kenya under-23 side have a double-header, first against England and then against Pakistan. Well, a big match for this Kenyan side. They're taking on South Africa at 2:15 in the afternoon. While the Australians will be playing their third pool match against Singapore. The other side we're watching just now, and they'll be confident of maintaining their 100% record in the pool so far, the Australians. They've looked really good in this tournament so far. Sun just beginning to come out here late in the day. It's 5 o'clock here in Nairobi. Beautiful time of the day in East Africa. Kenya obviously on the equator. Pretty much gets sunset the same time year round, between about 6:20 and 6:45 in the evening. Same with the sunrises, so more or less 12-hour days year round here on the equator. Wonderful country to visit. One of the greatest countries globally for wildlife conservation. No area more so than up north, the Laikipian region, which has a multitude of national parks and conservancies near Mount Kenya and the Aberdare mountain range. North of there up to the Samburu country. Truly iconic part of the world to visit on safari. So for any of you interested in visiting Kenya, either for cricket or safari, don't hesitate to get in touch. Kenya@lastmanstands.com. We'd love to host you here, as would all of us in the Kenyan cricketing and conservation community. Back to this game now. We see Dominic Wasonga back on for his third over. He's been terrific so far. Cracking delivery that seamed in to take out the top of middle for his wicket. Bowling his third over. This is a real confidence raiser for the Kenya team. How much did they need this for their first game in the format of this tournament? They've played a similar format at the Rhino Cup of LMS. They've all played plenty of LMS before. Steps back there, plays it down towards third man, but it won't go all the way, so just a single as AJ Hirani fields. They've only played the 10 over a side LMS format in the charity Rhino Cup up in Laikipia at Old Predator Conservancy, so a bit naive in the way that they went about their batting innings yesterday and how they closed out their overs towards the end. They would have dearly loved to have had a game like this at their first game just to ease into the format rather than an induction straight into the Australia game against a highly experienced Australian side yesterday. They really struggled with the bat against them. They went too hard too early and lost their wickets. That's a beautiful shot down the ground there. One bounce over the boundary for 4. Well batted Ashish Gandam. Let's have a look at this. Wasonga comes in, 2 steps down, full clean connection, down the ground. Boom, 1 bounce into the boundary fence. Excellent work from Gandam. Beautiful late afternoon sunshine now coming across the ground. Wonderful venue to play cricket at here, Nairobi Gymkhana, and a wonderful venue to be hosted at by all the teams. Great food, great bar, great facilities all round. As are the other venues being used in tournaments, Simba Union and Nairobi Club, terrific private member clubs. I say private member, they are private member sporting clubs with a multitude of sporting teams. So it's not just cricket that's played at these venues. And that's the way that it works with a lot of these clubs in Kenyan cricket. They are members clubs that combine cricket with other sports. That ball's gone high up in the air. The long off coming in won't get there. He almost pulled out of the shot. Just a single in the end. 1 ball left in the 11th over. 59 for 3 for LMS Singapore. Bharat Alimelu, 12 runs off 13 balls so far. He's got his eye in. Can he be the catalyst that Singapore need to chase this most unlikely of targets? As I said, they'll be looking for the losing bonus points, but that's still a long way away at the moment. Into the pads there from Wasonga. Ends his third over extremely well. 1 for 15 for Dominic Wasonga. 11 overs gone. 59 for 3. Tough task here for LMS Singapore. Kenya looking the goods, but it's a long way back for them in this tournament. They need results to go their way. Well, what they need is to beat the South Africans, which will be a tough match for them tomorrow. Hope that the South Africans slip up there. And then they'll be wanting Australia to do them a favour against South Africans, which is a big game at midday on Friday. Midday East Africa time on Friday. 28th of June. Midday East African time. That's 11 a.m. South African time, 10 a.m. English time, Australian time, 7 o'clock at night on the East Coast. Perfect time for LMS communities all around the world to watch one of the biggest matches of the tournament, South Africa against Australia. Sakoth comes in. Beautiful shot down the ground. Ashish Gandam, well, now he's attacked both of the Kenyan fast bowlers. Let's have a look at this. Koth comes forward again. 2 little steps down the ground, just as he did before. And instead of going aerial, he almost takes out the umpire's ankles. Wonderful shot by Gandam. Well, he's showing, just like Sandeep KT did earlier, that he's got some serious class with the bat, which is great to see. Singapore far from done yet. Well, this man is at the crease. 2 terrific shots. 2 of the best shots of the game so far. Can Martin Akoth bounce back? Second ball of his second over. Charges in the Kenyan fast bowler. Beautifully bowled, outside off stump, seams in, misses the edge through to the keeper. Well bowled Akoth. So the Singaporeans are staying here at Nairobi Gymkhana, along with 4 of the other teams in the tournament. Akoth comes in, through to the keeper again. Good pace, excellent bowling from Akoth. 2 of the other teams and tournament manager staying over at the oldest club in Kenya, the iconic Nairobi Club. Over 120 years old. Nairobi doesn't actually have a long history. It only goes back to the 1880s as a city. So Nairobi Club, one of the original buildings in the city. one of the beautiful cricket venue, but sadly, let's just watch this ball first. Akoth outside off stump. Sadly, due to the recent rains that Heron Virar was discussing with us earlier, the worst rains in Kenya since 1997, he was saying, in terms of volume. That effectively put the Nairobi club pitch out of action, waterlogged it. It's probably playable now, but luckily we've got Simba Union across the road, which Akoth as he comes in again. Lovely play out to the offside from Barath. He'll fought Shaw at the backward point, but he'll pick up another single. Luckily, Simba Union has come to the rescue for us in the wet lead up to this tournament. They've got a stunning ground across the road, one of the best wickets in Kenya. Again, another international ground. So a terrific opportunity for all these LMS players to play at iconic venues in the Kenya cricketing scene during this tournament. 12 overs gone now, 65 for 3. Bharat Alimelu, 13 off 15. Ashish Gandham, 11 off 9, which doesn't do it justice. 2 terrific shots straight down the ground. As we have AJ Hirani back into the attack. How much did Kenya need him yesterday, this all-rounder? One of the best bowlers at the Rhino Cup. Won the tournament against the Australians at the Rhino Cup in the final. They couldn't play him. How much did Kenya need him yesterday when the Australians were going hard? They looked like they had the Rhino Cup won up there in Old Pedder, the Australians, before AJ Hirani's last over. And in the end, I think his last over only went for 2 or 3 and they lost by 7 or 8 runs. They couldn't play him. Good pace, good bounce. But sadly, he wasn't able to get down for their big game for Kenya against Australia yesterday. The damage was done there, but can Kenya come back? He's got Patel on his back, but it's AJ Hirani bowling. Just nudged into the leg side. He's already broken 1 stump today, always disappointing for tournament management. The lovely stump stickers. Can't be dealing with these broken stumps. Takes far too long to put a stump sticker back on. AJ Hirani comes on. 3rd ball of his 3rd over. Pushed into the offside by Bharat Alimelu. He's looking good. But he's now moved on to... What's he now? 15 off 17. He's had enough time to get his eye in now. He's got to push on a bit, Bharat. Ashish Gandham has showed good intent. Alimelu has to follow suit if Singapore are going to have any chance of getting losing bonus points in this game. I think they're just enjoying their time out there now and not sure if they believe they can realistically make a fist of this, but it's a great experience for the Singapore side and it's great to have them involved in this tournament. So these 2 guys batting well out there on an iconic international venue. Can one of them reach 50? They've still got plenty of time to do so. Hirani comes in, last ball of his 3rd over, outside off stump, nudged into the offside there, nicely into the gap. Fielders are going to come round, they'll come back for 2, the batsman. Again, Gandham showing his ability, moving on to 16 off 12 balls, which leaves us at 72 for 3 after 13 overs. 135 runs needed for victory, 93 runs needed for the losing bonus points. Kenya will be motivated here. I heard them at half-time here in Virar really into the team about ensuring whatever happened that they had a maximum victory today, that they didn't take their foot off the gas. They're not just thinking that 165 target. They really need to restrict Singapore as much as possible here to reverse that net run rate damage that they incurred against Australia yesterday, should it come down to that. Martin Akoth back into the attack in the setting East African sun. Beautiful conditions for cricket now as Akoth comes in. Outside off stump, beautiful delivery, good bounce and pace through to Jadab, the keeper. Bharat Alimelu, a few playing misses outside off in the last few overs. Maybe getting a little frustrated out there. He's got to keep his head, get Bass on ball. As Akoth comes in for his 2nd delivery. Straighter on the pads. Chinese cut. Jadab will come. Just field off the keeper. Our umpire there, Peter Katuku. One of the charity coaches And a regular umpire here on the Kenya scene. Terrific guy, also a terrific player. He would have been a shout for this LMS Kenya side if he wasn't busy umpiring. An edge onto the pads there. Sorry, a mistake. Not an edge onto the pads. It's gone onto the pads and onto the stumps. I didn't see that behind the batsman. So Martin Akoff picks up his first wicket there. Looked like he played it on. Let's have a look from the reverse angle. Edge into the pads, onto centre. That was hidden from us by the batsman. So well bowled Martin Akoff. He deserves that wicket. He had a tough game against the Australians yesterday, but he's picked up his first wicket of the LMS World Cup. Well deserved by the Kenyan fast bowler. 1 for 10 now of 2.3 overs. Gandham was looking good there, Ashish, for the Singaporeans. Just like Sandeep before, earlier. He departs just when he was looking the part, which brings Edwin to the crease to join Bharat Alimelu. Sudhakar has a big task ahead of him now, though. Coming to the crease, requiring 134 off 32 balls. Not the ideal situation for any batsman to come into the crease. But he's playing at a iconic ground in a wonderful tournament. Beautiful conditions. So she just enjoy it out there. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of these players. So the main thing is to embrace that opportunity. Akoff comes in. I know that there's another 200,000 LMS players globally that would bite your hand off to be playing here today in this game, whatever the scenario. So last ball of the 14th over coming up. 74 for 4. Through to the keeper. Well bowled by Akoff. Finishes his third over. 1 for 11. It's a real morale boosting game for the Kenyans. As we said many times, how they would have dearly loved this to be their first game to get into the tournament. They had a baptism of fire against the Australians. Reminder that over at the other ground at the moment, there's the charity cricket programme happening with the Foundation for Youth Cricket and Education in Kenya. Kids from slum schools around Nairobi all converging on that venue after the day's play. Fantastic to see so many of our foreign players involved in the coaching over there and embracing the opportunity to interact with the kids. Marvellous opportunity for those kids, so great to see that happening over there. But here, we're focusing on Singapore versus Kenya as Jamin Patel comes back into the attack for his last over. On the pads. Remember, tomorrow we open up with Singapore versus Australia, first game of the day. Then Bangladesh against the rest of the world, followed up by Kenya under 23 against Pakistan. Those are 3 games here at Nairobi Gymkhana, while over at Simba Union, the day starts at 11 a.m. Kenya time. Kenya under 23s against England, which will be followed up by a big game. South Africa versus Kenya at 2:15 in the afternoon. Must-win game for Kenya. The South Africans will be confident. They've looked really good in this tournament so far, South Africa. South Africa and Bangladesh probably the favourites so far, and that's a wide delivery down the leg side from Jamin Patel. He'll be disappointed there. Freebie for the Singaporeans. Damages his figures a bit. Very tidy figures they are, though. 1 for 14 off 3.2 overs. 76 for 4 the score. Bharat Alimelu hits the ball to mid-wicket, moves on to 18 runs. Two balls left for Jamin Patel. He's done a big drive down from Meru, 6 hours away. He is desperate here for a second wicket. Almost gets it there with a Chinese cut. Sudhakar gets away with it. Jadhav, the keeper, has to chase hard. They'll come back for 2. So just 5.1 overs left in this Singapore run chase. Kenya looking dead set on for maximum points in this game, which is what they desperately needed. The more they win, the better it will boost their net run rate. Patel comes in. Beautiful shot there. Lovely stuff. Clears the long off fielder. Wonderful batting from Edwin Sudhakar. Where did that come from? He's looking relatively sedate. And then he just opened up. Not a bad ball from Patel. Slightly overpitched. Sudhakar onto it in a flash. Kept his head straight. Right through the line of the bat. Cleared long off easily. Wonderful stuff. Singapore. Maybe a late charge here from Sudhakar. Let's have a look at that from the other angle here. Nothing too wrong with his delivery apart from being overpitched, but he made it more so by a step up the wicket. Lovely stuff from the batsman. Excellent work. Brings an end to the 4-over spell for Jamin Patel. 1 for 23, so terrific figures from him. Last 25 deliveries, 122 needed. Samath Patel. You could see him just before that first delivery trying to ease the rust out of his joints. He wasn't too happy about being categorised as one of the slow bowlers in the team. He spent a lot of time over a couple of whiskies with me the other night discussing how he didn't want to be seen as a bowler in this tournament and we had to look at other options. But in the past he has been a terrific bowler, so let's see if he can ease up his joints to produce something here. This is important for Kenya. If he comes off well here and can get his bowling going again, he'll be an important slow bowling addition in some of the other games. Toss that one up. Bunted back by Sudhakar. Sorry, by Bharat Alimelu. Through the keeper. Up. A bit untidy there by Jadav, the keeper. Just the buys though. Edwin Sudhakar on strike. What a terrific shot we saw from him in the last over. Turns in nicely there from Samath Patel. Nice bit of tweak there. That'll give him a bit of confidence. One ball left in the 16th over of the Singapore innings. Going right up there. Sudhakar plays it down to wide third man. AJ Hirani puts the ball back in. 16 overs. 90 for 4. So 20 deliveries left. 165 is the bonus point mark. So that must be beyond Singapore now. So Kenya will be picking up the maximum 10 points from this game. A reminder, you get 6 points for a win, and then there's 2 points automatically given to all the sides for clothing bonus points, which are generally enforced around the world to encourage our amateur teams all around the world to actually wear cricketing clothes. Otherwise, you'd have all the Australians walking around in board shorts and thongs, as they call them. So important to keep them all in uniforms. That's what the 2 bonus points are for clothing. Virani back into the attack, and Sudhakar onto that in a flash. The full toss gets away with it. Viraya. Hiren Viraya, the Kenya captain. He hasn't got a wicket yet. 15 off is 2.1 overs so far. This is the third ball of the 17th over here. Bharat plays it out to the offside. Moves on to 92 for Singapore. 92 for 4 score. Last ball of the 17th over coming up. Hiran Varad desperate for a wicket here. He looked really good yesterday against Australia. He's the gun slow bowler for Kenya, veteran of 90 internationals for Kenya, captain of this LMS Kenya side. Edwin Sudhakar on strike. Ball goes up in the air, just goes over the keeper though. Gets away with that. They're going to come back for 2. 17 overs gone. Hiran Varaya, none for 18 off his 3 overs now. Let's have a look at that. Beautifully fighted up there. Went for the sweep. Top edge. Didn't quite go to the keeper. End of the 17th over. Just outside off stump there, Samath Patel back into the attack, bowling the 18th over. Bharat Alamelu steadily moving on here. In the 18th over, scores 96 for 4. Samath Patel 0 for 4 off his 1.2 overs. He'll be desperate for a wicket. Toss it up there. Out into the offside to the covers. Well in from Dominic Wasonga just to keep it to a single. Samath Patel comes in, looking for his first wicket of this LMS World Cup, puts out a bit short, and he's been dispatched for 6 over mid-wicket. Sudhakar pulls it out of the bag, onto it into a flash to shorted delivery. Good power, flat 6. Clears the boundary line by a couple of metres into his teammates. Wonderful to see. Well batted, Sudhakar. He's played some terrific shots so far. Moves on to 20 off 10 balls. Patel puts it wide out, and that's gone high and straight and far. Sudhakar with a straight 6. This is what Singapore need. 26 off 11. They move on to 109 for 4, and this is the best over of the innings for LMS Singapore. Beautiful shot. Successive 6s for Sudhakar. 15 off the over for Singaporeans. Getting up towards a respectable total. 26 off 11. Samath Patel dispatched back over his head. None for 17 off his 2 overs so far. Bharat Alamelu will be on strike now against Hiran Varaya, who will be bowling his last over. The LMS Kenya captain. Very keen for a wicket here, just to keep his momentum going in this tournament. 98 needed of the last 2 overs. Alamelu has faced 32 deliveries, should have his eye in now. 4 wickets down, he's got a couple of teammates in the shed, so maybe should look at freeing his arms a bit, giving them a go unless he can come off. Nothing to lose now. The left arm, Hiran Varaya, coming around the wicket. Beautifully played there by Bharat Alamelu. He needed to get going, hit that hard, beat the backward point. AJ Irani, who was coming round. 26 off 33 deliveries. Kenya have got to keep going here. Make sure they maximise this win for their net run rate. But that's beautifully played. Gave himself a bit of space. That's more what we like to see. Varaya comes back on, veteran of 90 games for the Kenya national team. He's only 40, so he's by no means past it in a cricketing sense. Second ball of the 19th over. Varaya comes in, round the wicket. Chipped up in the air, that's going to fall short and safe. Barely goes off the square, fielded off his own bowling by the captain. Eight deliveries remaining in this relatively one-sided contest. 18.2 overs gone. Third ball of the 19th over, and he's hit that beautifully again, Sudhakar. Pierced the gap at mid-wicket. Moves on to 30 off just 12 balls. This is what Singapore needed earlier. But as it stands, the match is gone. They needed this right at the top of the order. He's looked like a class act here. Just 12 balls, 30 runs. Magnificent stuff from Edwin Sudhakar. He's had 3 maximums in those 12 balls. Farrar comes in, fights it up, goes to the big one again. Keeper asks the question. Foot well placed back in the crease. Let's have a look at this. Lovely flight, turn, beautiful bowling. Loses all his shape there, Edwin Sudhakar. 6 balls left in this Singapore innings against Kenya in the LMS World Cup 24. Beautiful shot from Edwin Sudhakar, straight down the ground. Hasn't quite got hold of it though. Like some of his other ones, it's fallen well short of the boundary. So just the single there as Hiren Varrar completes his 4 overs. None for 28 from the LMS Kenya captain. Have a look at this. Flies it up, bit more pace. He went hard, Sudhakar, doesn't quite get hold of it. Up in the air, almost like a pitching wedge, and drops well short of the boundary. Bit of variation there from Varrar with a slightly faster ball. And Martin Akoth to finish off. He's bowled terrifically well, just 11 runs from his 3 overs. He's been rewarded with a wicket. You'd love to have another one, particularly this man, Sudhakar, who's been the danger man for Singapore and got them up towards a competitive total. Outside off stump, play and miss by Sudhakar. Koth comes in again for LMS Kenya. Outside off, through to the keeper again. Great bowling by Koth, not giving anything to the Singaporeans here. Keeper well back. The carry through going well. Good pace, right through. He's a long way back, the keeper, so he's bowling good pace to Koth. That's the slower ball there, though. Batsman's gone for it. Has he quite got hold of it? No, falls short, mistimed it with the slower ball. Just 2 runs there. Sudhakar moves on to 33 off 17 balls. He's got 2 deliveries left. He could still reach a 50 if he hits a home run, but he needs 2 sixes in a row for a 50. One to take him to 39, and then the home run to take him to 51. That's highly unlikely, but if anyone could do it in Singapore time, Sudhakar could. Goes for it. It's a dot ball. 3 dot balls in this final over from Martin Akoth. Excellent finishing at the death. Keeping the batsman playing well outside off. Almost every delivery a foot outside. Perfect death bowling. Let's see this last ball come up. More on the batsman, and he has got hold of that. Well, there you go. 4 runs to finish, and that's the end of the innings. Well played by Sudhakar there. Belts it. They watched it a bit just to check if it was 4 or 6. Where'd it go? We see that land just inside the boundary. So instead of a home run, it's a 4. 37 off 19. A terrific knock there at the end by Edwin Sudhakar. But Kenya end up winning by 81 runs. Big win for the Kenyans. They needed it to bounce back from the Australia game disappointment that they had yesterday. Bharat Alimelu also batted solidly, 27 not out from 34 balls. Martin Akoth, excellent figures, 1 for 17 from his 4 overs. Opened and closed the bowling. With handshakes all round. End of the day's play at Nairobi Gymkhana. Back on here tomorrow morning. Let's just have a look at the Singapore scorecard. Highlights. Sachin Pasu Mamula, 19 off 20 balls. Sandeep looked really good for his 17 off 10 balls. Bharat Alimelu solid for 27 not out. Ashish Gandam looked very good for his 16 off 13 balls. And at the end, the best of the lot, Edwin Sudaka, quick fire 37. The Kenya bowlers all tight with the ball. Martin Okoth, 1 for 17 off his 4 overs. The pick, Wasonga, 1 for 15 off 3 overs. Jamin Patel and AJ Hirani both picking up wickets as well. Final score for Singapore, 125 for 4. They fall well short of their victory target of 207. Kenya will march on, taking on South Africa tomorrow, while Singapore take on Australia in the first game of the day. We look forward to you all joining us then here at Nairobi Gymkhana and across the road at Simba Union. For now, have a good night.